Hello and welcome to my first impressions, and more than first impressions, of Yooka-Laylee. I've played the game for about 10 hours now. I did have a review copy of the game, but I did not finish it. I thought I'd do a video similar to the Zelda video. I'm going to tell you 10 things, well no, 5 things I really like about Banjo-Kazooie. I mean, damn it, Yooka-Laylee. I might do that a lot because this game is banjo as hell. It's a Kickstarter game, obviously. You know, the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie from the people that made Banjo-Kazooie. And the game is that. Very, very much that. If you like that game, you're going to like this game. If you didn't like that game, you're probably not going to like this. Maybe you will. I don't know. You tell me. But yes, I'm going to give you 5 things I really like about this game, and then 5 things maybe I don't like as much, just because I'm trying to, I don't know, be fair. And, yeah, I don't know. I feel like with the early release of games, you know, people tend to get kind of swept up in the hype, and it doesn't mean maybe they shouldn't. I just kind of want to be as honest with you as possible. I don't know if there's going to be as much hyperbole for this game as there was for Zelda. Probably not. But, you know, things need to be said. So let's start. Well, first let me explain to you that this is Banjo down to a T. I mean, the characters, the way it plays, the structure, the way the story is presented, everything's got googly eyes. This game is rare as fuck. Like, look at this guy. I talked to, look, he's a cannon with googly eyes. The way they talk is very Banjo. I'm just gonna skip this. This game feels pretty big, so we got to get to the meat. This is the hub, just like Banjo-Kazooie. There's a main area here, which we'll get to in a second, which is kind of where all the different worlds are. Let's get there. And then we could start our pros and our cons. Well, I'll go ahead and start. First things first, the game looks great. The game looks bright and colorful. They kind of nail the animations. And, you know, for a Kickstarter game by, you know, an indie developer, I mean, it doesn't look it, man. It doesn't look it. Now, there's not a lot of, I am playing this on PC. There's not a ton of display options. There's really hardly any. But I'm not running a very modern gaming PC at all. In fact, my build's about 6 years old. I've upgraded the graphics card one time, but I'm running a GTX 760. I got an i7 2600K, and you know, I know that those components are holding up pretty well, but this is by no means, you know, top of the line. And this thing runs perfectly. I'm capturing footage. And with OBS running, a lot of modern games will be chugging like crazy on my PC. But this game's running great. And I really like the look. I really like the animations. The enemies and the characters are very emotive. It's just nice. It's pleasant to look at. So that's my first one. That's number 1. Number 2 is I think the game feels great, and you have a lot of moves. Again, like Banjo-Kazooie, you acquire moves as you play this game, and a lot of them are going to look familiar. Like this roll is very similar to, you know, running around on Kazooie, but it's very snappy and responsive and fast, and just a nice way to get around. And you know, honestly, not as annoying as running around on Kazooie, which could get kind of annoying. She was a very annoying bird. You have your spin attacks. You know, you can kind of jump an attack to do the like a lunging attack. I guess this would be the equivalent of Kazooie's. You know what I'm talking about. Kind of like an aerial lunge attack, but again, very snappy, very responsive. You can do it as soon as you jump off the ground. Got your double jumps, your glides, but it feels good. It feels good. Kazooie, I mean, Banjo, I mean, Yooka. I don't even know which one's Yooka and which one's Laylee. I have not been paying attention. I really haven't. The lizard can eat shit and then acquire its properties, use that to like kill things, but mostly solve puzzles and challenges and stuff, as you would do in a Banjo-Kazooie game, because this is a Banjo-ass Kazooie game. But yeah, so it looks great, it runs great, the moves feel, I mean, you got your ground pounds, you know, nothing maybe you haven't seen before, but it feels good, you know? You know, the sign of a bad platformer, I think, is the one that doesn't feel very good or responsive or tight, and I think this game kind of nails it. Maybe even a little better than Banjo. Did I tell you this game is a lot like Banjo-Kazooie? There might be lawsuits here. This is so damn similar. But yeah, number 3 on things I really, really enjoy about this game. Outside of moves and stuff, look, you can eat butterflies to regain your health. Is look at these worlds. They're gigantic. They're huge. This is the first world. It is expanded. Now you have a there's a system in the game to where, you know what? Well, yeah, okay. So I gotta show you some of this shit. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get up there in this video, but it's crazy. Maybe I can kind of get up there. Some of your moves are tied to your energy meter, which refills over time. You're going to notice as I kind of explore these levels that you're not seeing a lot of collectibles. Honestly, it's because I've already run through these levels. I could have restarted to maybe show you the kind of shit you collect, but we'll get to that in a second because I do want to talk about that. About how much of a collect-a-thon this game is. But they're not just huge, there's a lot of stuff to do. I know some people were concerned that they were going to be big and empty without a lot of shit to do, but that's just not true. There's a ton of stuff, and there's a lot of variety there too. You know, some of the variety might seem a little familiar. Like for example, let me show you my totals. If you look at those little creatures on the bottom, you're collecting those, like, what were they called? Jingos? From Banjo-Kazooie. There's some in each world. But, you know, they each have, like, their own little twist to them. Like, one of them, you know, you kind of hear, but you don't necessarily see. It kind of pops into existence. You got to stun them with your little sonar. One of them you have to, like, feed a bunch to get him. And there's some that I haven't even figured out how to capture yet. But you know, it adds like a nice variety on a familiar, you know, mechanic that we saw from Banjo. Also, there's a lot of like little mini games and stuff, just like little retro game challenges. Like there's an arcade machine over there. I found, I guess one in each world. I think this one's kind of like a Rare's. What was their you know, RC Pro-Am series. It just straight up Banjo. Lots of stuff to do, lots of things to collect. I've been playing the game for 10 hours. I've only been to 3 worlds. I have expanded them, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I've only collected 54 pages, which are kind of like the jiggies of this game, out of 145. So if I'm going to 100% this game, which I think I might, because there really is that draw to you know, want to collect everything like in Banjo-Kazooie. You know, it might take some time. And man, these worlds are massive. Now, so just big worlds with lots of stuff to do in them. And you know, honestly, you know, the other 2 worlds I've unlocked feel a lot different than this one, which is nice. You know, I was worried that they're all going to be kind of samey, and even though some of the challenges and like, you know, like time trials and mini games, you know, you can kind of see parallels between them in the different worlds. Like there was a cool ass boss up on the top of that ramp way up in the sky. The levels do have different feels to them. I can't show you everything in this game, even though this is a review build, and I can't talk about everything I've played in this game. The amount of footage I'm allowed to show right now this week is somewhat limited. But this is the expanded version of that first world, because you have the option, and this will lead into my 4th thing I really like about this game. It's just is I really like the hub, and I really like how kind of non-linear this is. you do get abilities in these various books, which you use to explore the rest of the hub. Again, very much like Banjo-Kazooie, but the order in which you acquire those abilities, and once you start collecting the pages, which are like the jiggies, you'll start to realize that you have kind of freedom to, one, you can choose to spin your pages to expand a world, to make it bigger, to make, and to you know, unlock more challenges and stuff. And oh shoot, which is, or you can choose to spin those pages to unlock like subsequent worlds. So if you're comfortable with one world and you want to unlock everything from the get-go, you can, or you can just move on and come back to it. It's nice to kind of have that freedom. And part of this is, you know, the hub seems very like densely packed with secrets, with their own pages, which again are like jiggies, and like with little challenges and secrets, and it's just been very satisfying to explore. After 10 hours, I've only been to these 3 worlds because honestly, I have not figured out how to get to the other ones. That's how like densely packed and well hidden some of the stuff in the hub world is. Because from what I understand, I've acquired all the abilities that I can right now. So it's kind of cool that I am struggling to find some of that stuff. I mean, that's a sign, I think, of a well put together hub world. Let me see if I can. What is this? I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. Oh man, it's so Banjo. Let me go up here and do something cool. So I like how non-linear it is. I like how you can kind of stick in a world, which is cool. I like the idea of the expanded worlds or levels because it lets the initial, because these worlds are quite large, it lets them feel a little bit manageable. Because you can kind of have overload of the various things to collect and the challenges. You're seeing pages everywhere. I like the idea of a more manageable level than expanding it into something more massive. I have a feeling like if they had the full size of the world from the get-go, it could be quite overwhelming. Check this out. So one of the things the lizard can do is acquire these various elements, and I'm gonna vomit water. I love how it looks like she's vomiting. I'm gonna make this cloud rain. This cloud with googly eyes rain. And it's gonna change the properties of the world, and now it's gonna fill in what was just a kind of a dirt track around this world with water, and that can, you know, lead to other various new secrets and whatnot. There's transformations just like in Banjo-Kazooie. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie here. If you played Banjo-Kazooie, you played this game. Except it's cool. I mean, it's big, it's beautiful, and it's modernized in a... Let's get to the next one, goddammit. Finally, number 5 on things I really like about this game is I like the way they handle collectibles in this game. You know, we'll hop out of here in a second and visit another world. I like the way they handle collectibles in this game. You're not seeing a lot of them because the truth is I've already kind of collected most of the shit in this world, and the reason I could have restarted and showed you a world filled with a bunch of the golden feathers which you collect, but the truth is if I restarted the game, I wouldn't have been able to show you all the cool moves that I've acquired in the expanded world. And so just pretend that there's collectible shit everywhere. One of the things I really didn't like, let me hop out of here. One of the things I didn't really like about old N64 platformers, some of them, wasn't really an issue with Banjo-Kazooie, and it wasn't really an issue with Mario 64, but some of them, like Donkey Kong 64, it just got ridiculous with collectibles. Collectibles that felt like they didn't actually have a purpose. Well, everything that you collect in the world is mostly these golden feathers, which are your currency for buying moves, which is a really smart... I mean, it makes it makes you want to collect as much as possible because that directly leads to you being able to you know, do more things, which can lead to, you know, unlocking new areas in the hub world, unlocking secrets and pages in the hub world. So it's a very satisfying thing to collect, and that's pretty much it. I mean, let's look at my totals here. You'll see like that spinning heart butterfly and the energy thing next to it. Those are permanent upgrades that are tricky, hard to find in the world. And some of the other stuff are just the things you have to find in each world to do the various like transformation mini game, the retro arcade mini game, and then those guys at the bottom are like your Jingos, but you know, like I was saying earlier, each of them have a different way of collecting them. I haven't even really figured them all out. It's kind of puzzling in that way. And that's pretty much it. So even though there's stuff to collect, it feels meaningful, and none of it feels pointless. I also like this too, which you complete various challenges, like collect 10 pages in HIVORY Towers to unlock this one, and you gain extra health from butterflies. You know, these are tonics that you can equip to do various things. You can only equip one at a time, but again, it motivates you to achieve various challenges, because, you know, these are pretty, you know, useful. Like this one, you know, lets my roll move use less of the energy, which is great, because, you know, energy is how you do all your moves and stuff. Damn you. Let's see. So I like the way they handle collectibles in this game. Even though you're not seeing a lot of them. Feels good. Feels good finding stuff, getting new moves. And, you know, I honestly, I could kind of maybe say more than 5 things that are really good about this game, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying this game quite a bit. Like, the music's good. I mean, it's banjo. It's banjo as fuck. But let's move on to the slightly more negative stuff too, which I promise I'm not gonna spend as much time on, because honestly, I'm more high on this game than I am negative, which I was with Zelda 2, but I felt like I had to justify my opinion, so I wasn't, you know, you know, I didn't get angry letters and stuff. But I guess I will start with my first negative, which is the fact that the game feels very familiar. You know, honestly, if you like Banjo-Kazooie, you're gonna like this, but I feel like I'm not seeing a ton of stuff new. You know, it's Banjo. It's Banjo as fuck. You know, you're not gonna see a ton of surprises in that way, which, you know, isn't really a negative to some people. But, you know, I kind of have to, you know, because of the lack of surprises for me, I kind of wanted to list it as a negative. But again, it's not really that big of a deal, because they don't make these games very often. I know some of you guys were bummed about Nuts and Bolts. This should make those people happy. I mean, I'm really bad at doing this. I need to stop. I don't have to jump. It's actually very... let's hop into this. Actually, I can't go into this world. The video embargo. I almost did something bad. Alright. But I do know where the other world is. It's this way. So yeah, kind of can be a bummer for some. But it's good. It executes on it well. This negative is not so negative, but I had to list it. Secondly, it seems like there's not as many levels as the original Banjo-Kazooie, by any means, actually. There might actually only be 5 or 6. Now, the hub world, it is densely packed. You do feel like you can do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to find. And the worlds themselves are huge. But, you know, Banjo-Kazooie had maybe like twice as many levels, honestly. And, you know, that means more variety in terms of like the settings and stuff. So I could see how that could be a bummer to some. But like I said, the worlds are big and you do expand them. So maybe that's not so much of an issue. But we'll have to see. Again, I've only seen 3 of the worlds. All of them have been expanded. You could kind of look at it as maybe, you know, those 3 worlds have actually been 6 worlds as I've expanded them. especially in this level. I'm not allowed to talk about or show you the expanded version of this level, but I can tell you that it's really fucking cool. I think I could just straight up tell you what they are, and that's that they're like these 2 secret like palaces that are like all isometric in its structure, and it's cool some of the stuff they do with that. Like, it almost feels like you're playing a different game, kind of like an old isometric game from like the 16-bit era. Very, very cool. Next, on things I don't like is that some of the stuff in the game just kind of... Like, there's transformations in this game, and I know that's a holdover from Banjo-Kazooie, but none of the ones I've found have seemed very cool. Like, you saw that fucking flower from that last level. I'll show you the transformation here. And it's not just the transformation. It's that some of the stuff that they took from Banjo-Kazooie is maybe either not done as well, or just maybe should have not been brought over. And I know a lot of y'all like the quizzes from Banjo-Kazooie. They do that here too. At least I've done it one time, and it's not nearly as cool. There we go. I thought I was gonna freeze here. I was worried. I've actually not had a lot of bugs so far. So yeah, I'm an ice truck, and I can maybe find some stuff and get the places I couldn't get before. But it just seems kind of like, I don't know. It's like, I didn't really love the transformations all that much in the first game, and it's like, this is just here because it was in that last game. Maybe that's like, you know, it's fine to imitate, but don't imitate even like the lame shit. You know, this stuff isn't so bad, but like the way they do the quiz in this game seems kind of like uninspired, and it really does seem like, man, y'all just wanted to have this in here, and that shit was kind of lame. So I don't know. A small thing, maybe a little bit of a nitpick, but it is what it is. My 1, 2, okay. Make sure I'm counting right. Okay, so another thing I don't like, number 4 on the things I don't like about this game, is, I don't know, I'm not really feeling the story and the way they presented. It is, again, much like Banjo-Kazooie, these text, you know, these lots of bad puns. This is actually really cool. These googly eyes are enemies, and you can destroy the object that it inhabits, but the googly eyes will just find something else to like possess and become another enemy. You have to kill the googly eyes. It's pretty clever. What's in there? Oh, this is like a hat that I have to return to some snowman. Ouch. See, how are those things hurting this truck? So yeah, I kind of wish there was voice acting, because it's just reading a lot of bad puns and rhymes, and honestly, I feel like I've been there before. The bee bad guy, it seems like a lot like Gruntilda, and there are times where I'm just kind of trying to skip through the dialogue of some of these googly eye creatures just because it might be a little annoying. I don't know. I have a feeling this negative is not really going to bother everybody else. Some people are looking for that charm. You know, maybe voice acting. Maybe voice acting. I know they didn't do it because maybe for budget reasons, but probably just because they wanted to be exactly like Banjo. But yeah, there's no... it's just kind of reading the text with the annoying... Whatever. It's a nitpick. And finally, number 5, on things I'm not too keen on this game so far, is that this game doesn't seem that difficult. I don't know if I remember Banjo-Kazooie being that tough of a game. There are some challenges that could be quite frustrating in Banjo-Kazooie. Maybe there's some stuff that can be a little frustrating here, but not really. It might be a combination of like how nice and responsive the controls are and stuff. But I'm not actually struggling that much. I have a lot of health and health is kind of readily like the butterflies to kind of restore your health seems readily available. This is like a... Okay, so to collect this guy, I have to melt this block of ice, I think. Actually, I wonder if I shatter it. Now, it's funny that I'm talking about difficulty and I might die here. But you really have to not be paying attention to... See, I gotta, like, feed this something. I have actually... Let's see if I can get this. But yeah, I've kind of been breezing through this game a little bit. You know, I fought a few bosses. They have not been too tough. Could be a bummer for some. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, these games are maybe not for kids or necessarily, but I feel like I had a tougher time with Banjo-Kazooie. And while I didn't play Banjo-Tooie, I know people who think that game is like super difficult at times, maybe frustrating. I don't think you're gonna have those issues here. So yeah, I mean, that's it. That's like my final negative. Some of them sound like nitpicks. Maybe the difficulty thing is a little bit of a bigger deal for people. Oh shit! Oh, I fed it. Now I collected it. Okay. That one with the big mouth, you just gotta feed it. Look, I actually collected something new here. Overall, 10 hours. I ain't stopping. I'm having a good time with this game. It feels familiar, but kind of in the best possible way. They don't make a lot of games like this anymore. So I'm glad that this was a successful Kickstarter and largely a successful game. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Look, I made myself sticky because I ate honey, and now I can walk up the ice. Let me know what you think. Who's picking up the game? What you think of this video series, of which I might do more. Let me know what game coming up would you like to see me do something like this as well. You know, I don't always get a review copy, but I will, if it's a game I'm hyped, I will play a lot of it, and I will try to maybe kind of list out the things I'm liking and not liking about a game as I play it. Play it for you. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.